Engkau saat tenang, sini wahai guru.
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 Wahai guru, 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 sini wahai guru.
Engkau saat tenang, sini wahai guru.
Engkau saat tenang, sini wahai guru.
Engkau saat tenang, sini wahai guru. Engkau saat tenang, sini wahai guru. Engkau saat tenang, sini wahai guru. Engkau saat tenang, sini wahai guru.
So let us take a deep breath in. And let us relax around that breath. And allow ourselves, as we breathe in all the way and all the way out, to release the last bit of tension or stress we may feel. And allow ourselves to be completely open and receptive to the full expression of the whole Spirit of God that moves in us, lifts us, and fills us. And with another deep breath in, let us now draw in divine life into our physical being. Feel the flow of life that melts away resistance and obstacles to the full expression of life itself, vitality and strength, power, right function, and order. We know that this life infills each cell, tissue, organ, body system, harmonizing, strengthening, and balancing for the highest function and the highest vibration of life itself. Feel that vibration now. another deep breath in. Let us now draw in divine love into our hearts. Allow that love to melt away resentments, unforgiveness for self or others. Allow judgment to be changed into discernment and understanding. Divine love connects us heart to heart, heals us, fills us, filling our torso now with that expansion of love, warmth. Feel it moving beyond the limits of our physical being into the space around us. Feel it now as a warm embrace. Love is here. And with another deep breath in, let us draw in divine light into our minds. Allow that light to dissolve away negative thinking, illusions of the truth, allowing us to see with divine light the truth beneath conditions, illumining our minds, lighting our path, that we may see what is next, what is before us, what is ours to do, holding a higher vision, radiating as that divine light, showing us the way. And with another deep breath in, let us now move into the inner sanctuary of our hearts. And in this quiet space, let us now sit, wait, and listen to the still small voice for God that speaks in the depths of us as we listen in the silence now. Thank you, Blessed Spirit. We do hear your voice in the quiet, in times of struggle and challenge. In this time apart, we may have already perceived a new idea or vision, perhaps a new thought, a new way of seeing, a sense of peace or well-being. Whatever we are aware of having received in this time, let us bring it back with us now to this time and to this place. And let us know that as we have received these gifts, that many more gifts are on their way to us and have been received to come into fruition in the coming hours and days in times of struggle or challenge. We will find our guidance as we seek to turn inward and listen deeply, to find the right word, the right action, the right choice in right time. For we are never alone, always blessed, always connected, always loved. And as we feel this now, and the gifts received, gratitude rises in us as we say, thank you, God. Thank you, God. Thank you, God. And so it is. Amen.
Hikaon ka Satanam Siri Waheguru.
So today we do continue the series on the 12 powers we started last week. Yes, you can see the zeal. This is the power of zeal. So just to do a quick recap from last week, if you weren't with us, it is the introduction. I introduced the idea that what we talk about is being that divinity within us, that Christ consciousness. Charles and Myrtle Fillmore, our co-founders, devised a set of teachings that help to illuminate what some of those powers are, those 12 powers of that divinity expressed in us. And it enables us to focus and to develop and to call upon those strengths and those gifts consciously so that we can apply them and use them in practical ways or discover that they are accessible to us in times of struggle or challenge. We suddenly find a strength we didn't know we had. And so being able to recognize this as all coming from an infinite source in us and an infinite amount of it, that we don't have to be accomplished masters to be able to call on these gifts and to utilize them in the times of struggle and challenge in our lives. Last week we talked about love being the underlying power, and my deep belief is that as we find ways to move out of our fear and open to love. Love is the doorway, is the gateway to every other power. Because as we can allow love to open us in generosity and fearlessness, defenselessness, the more capable we are of allowing other gifts to express through us as well. And so today we are talking about zeal, enthusiasm, passion. There's that zest in us. It is also, the title that I've used today is the guidance of zeal, because it is the guidance of that connection, of finding that electrical charge in us, that thing that makes our eyes light up, the thing that it wags our tail, that makes us want to go do, or go experience, or go learn about, or go practice doing, or the thing that is next for us. The thing we have curiosity about or joy for, something we want to spend more and more time doing. Whatever that thing is, don't need to judge it as not being spiritual enough. We are, by our nature, spiritual beings. Everything that naturally arises in you in a positive way that excites you, that it helps you to connect and that you want to talk about with others or share with others, that thing itself, that childlike zest, zeal in you, is a God-given power. It's a gift. It will propel you into making a difference in your own life as well as in the world. And so use that as your form of guidance, as the thing that helps you to orient to what is next for you. Henry Ford talked about it this way. He says, enthusiasm is the yeast that makes your hopes shine to the stars. Enthusiasm is the sparkle in your eyes, the swing in your gait, the grip in your hand, the irresistible surge of will and energy to execute your ideas. You see, it is that strength, that power that comes through you that is there to help you create and to make it a difference in the world in the ways that only you and your gifts and the place that you've been placed and the time in your life that you exist in, it's all on purpose, and all of that comes together in a powerful way, and the world needs you to bring it, to be you in this moment. It is enthusiasm, it is passion, it is the desire of the heart. It comes from a deep place within you, and you didn't create it. So don't let your ego rob you of it and tell you that's for other people to do. That it's not the big enough idea to really be from God. It's not going to change the world. It's not on a big enough stage or a grand enough scale. Your ego will always try to discount with fear or with anger. It will always try to find a place to compare, to judge. Either you're too good for this, or you're not good enough. One of the two. Take your choice. Ego's happy either place. The only place it doesn't like it is when you are in the zone, when you're in the place where you are really here to authentically, innocently serve in the only ways you know how with what is calling you next. In Romans chapter 12, verse 11, do not lag in zeal, be ardent in spirit, ardent, loving, ardent, passionate and desiring in spirit. Serve the Lord. Do not lag in zeal, be ardent in spirit, serve the Lord. Do you see how Scripture puts this zeal in connection with service to the world? It's what you use to make a difference. It's what you use to step out, to move past your fears and past your limitations and past your own ideas about what's possible. Taking risks. It is that charge that helps you to see, you know what? This just could work. This just might be the thing. I can try my hand at it. It guides the direction of the next new thing. I've called it a calling in other ways. It's all the same. It doesn't mean necessarily it's your next job. It could be. It does not have to be. You know, there's something about our brains that always try to translate everything into making money somehow, or redefining ourselves, or giving ourselves a new title or something. But I would tell you that it's less about any of that. That's all ego's concern. That it's really about coming from an authentic place, even if you really don't see how it makes a difference to anybody else but you. It's okay, because you're an unfolding glory of God. You're an unfolding joy of God. You're an unfolding part of creation. And I'll tell you what, that is a big enough job right there. Marion Bond West says, after 6 days in the hospital, Jean moved into a brand new rehab facility about 20 minutes from home. It looked more like a resort, but we knew the therapy would be hard. As we settled into his room at the Oaks of Athens, I prayed, Father, please guide me now. I feel so inadequate to help Jean. I even sang, without making a sound, the words to an old hymn, Guide me, O thou great Jehovah. As I was fussing about in Jean's room, arranging his personal items as though we were on vacation in a bed and breakfast, someone entered the room. Good morning, a nurse's aide said. I looked up and saw a beautiful, statuesque woman with the most glorious smile I think I'd ever seen. My eyes settled on her generous lips, painted a fascinating shade of pink. Her flawless skin was the color of coffee with lots of rich cream. The woman's dark hair moved when she talked. Her curls bobbed around joyfully. A name tag identified the woman, but I couldn't pronounce it. G-I-D-A. But she helped me. Guide her, she said. Oh, your mother must have given you that name so God would guide you through life. I think so, she said. I'm a minister, and God guides me moment by moment. I grabbed one of her hands and held on with both of mine tightly. She seemed to understand me, my concerns, my needs, even though Jean was the patient. Pray, Gaida. Pray for us as a couple and for Jean's healing. And she stood by Jean's bed, holding his hand in mine, and prayed earnestly to God about us. After an amen, she announced, God's got it. The enthusiasm, the zeal with which we enter into any form of service cannot help but heal, cannot help but connect us, cannot help but serve. The only thing that's required of us is to act out of that and to reconnect with what our purpose is. And that whenever doubts arise, or fears, or obstructions or things that we tell ourselves we can't do or shouldn't do or that's not for us or we're not good enough or whatever limitations, I would ask you just to stop and stop in that moment as soon as you're aware that you're entertaining that and go back to what is it I desire in the deepest part of me? What is all I want to do? All I want to do is serve. All I want to do is bring more love, more light, more hope, more possibility. I just want to serve from the gifts I've been given. I don't even know necessarily all that might look like, but that's what I want. I just connect with that desire, that innate desire, that childlike desire that's been there from the beginning of your life. It's undimmed by the machinations of your ego. It is there because indeed this is what your soul is here to do. Samuel Ullman says, nobody grows old merely by living a number of years. We grow old by deserting our ideals. Years may wrinkle the skin, but to give up enthusiasm wrinkles the soul. It dries us up. It incapacitates us. It brings us into disappointment and into depression and withdrawal from all of the goodness of life. We begin our own dying process, choice by choice, not usually as an event. Keeping ourselves connected to what serves, no matter what condition or state we are living in, it doesn't matter. As a living being, we can be radiating love. I will tell you, as a hospice chaplain, before I came to this ministry, I remember a gentleman who I met who was unable to speak. He was in a coma, but his eyes were open. But he was not able to follow or track or connect with anybody. I mean, let me say this. He wasn't able to speak. He wasn't able to show response. But he had a perpetual smile on his face. And let me say something else to you. The entire room radiated some kind of loving energy that everybody told me about, even before I went in. They told me about how he was their favorite patient to take care of, their favorite client. That it was like he was like a Buddha who was completely at peace and at the same time at joy and completely needed every single solitary human thing done for him in order to care for him. And yet, everyone who came in felt they received more than they gave. I use that as an example to you to not discount all the ways in which you express, and you've been given the opportunity to do that. That there is something great in you as well that is here that will radiate through whatever your efforts yield to make it more. When things don't work out the way we would like, when disappointment sets in, finding something good resurrects our enthusiasm. Seeing things as they are, as they might be, is a way for us to lift up our attitude, to step out of the disappointment. Because you see, zeal is really all about that. The enthusiasm is to help us push past our sense of risk and our sense of fear of disappointment, because God knows the worst thing that could ever happen to us is to be disappointed. Is that yes? I mean, is that the worst thing that could happen? I mean, disappointment? Oh, gosh, I didn't get my expectations met. Well, that teaches me never to have any anymore. That teaches me never to step out again. I should stay in my own little cocoon, my own little place. I should know where my limits are, because God forbid I could be disappointed if I tried something different. Now you hear it? Okay, just checking. So I want you to know that fear of disappointment, that's been usually put into us way, way long ago from good people who just wanted us not to feel pain, not to get hurt, and to mirror their own sense of inadequacy. They didn't want you to outstretch what you could do because they feared for you. But their fear should not be legitimately available in your life anymore, you decide, and you step out, and you learn from every single thing you do, because disappointment is just a step ladder to the next thing. Jim Hinch knows that. He says, we were in Ashland, Oregon, stopping for a night on the drive home from a visit to Kate's family in Seattle. We looked forward to this stop. We love Ashland, with its pretty streets and parks, the cosmopolitan vibe of its Shakespeare festival. But a few days earlier, a wildfire had broken out in the mountains. A hot wind blew a haze of acrid smoke through the town. A layer of gray ash covered our car. So no picnic, the kids moaned as we checked into our motel. We'd planned to buy food at the market and eat at our favorite park. Sorry, guys, I said. Smoke's too thick. Let's do what we can, Kate said. We'll burn off some energy at the playground, then go to the market and eat our picnic in the motel room. Inside? Wailed the kids. Yes, inside, said Kate. Sorry. We managed 15 minutes at the playground and then hurried to the store and bought fresh bread, cheese, fruit, vegetables, and some fancy chocolate. Inside the room, we tried to ignore the blaring air conditioner. I like the cheese, Mommy, said Frances, sounding like she was trying to convince herself. I like the grapes, said Benjamin, sounding more certain. Let's watch a movie while we eat our chocolate, said Kate. Yes, cried the kids. So we found a fun movie and settled back on the bed. And then I noticed suddenly that the room had felt cozy and reassuring. We'd forgotten to say grace at this hurried meal, so I silently said one now. A surprised and profound thank you for God's inexhaustible ability to guide us to what was good, even when we were lost in our own disappointment. Our plans are just the best we can come up with. Our plans are just what we can see from our experience. Our plans are not life itself. Life itself is the adventure. Life itself reveals itself. The next step, the next place. We might put ourselves in time and place and location. That is our work. We do need to have some kind of schedule, some kind of decisions and plans, somewhat. But we also need to be ready to pivot, ready to turn, ready to take in what else life is trying to bring to us. Because it's in there that we find the freshness, where the enthusiasm, where the zeal inside of us connects with something new to be created, the very next thing that's out there for us. Rabindranath Tagore, who's an author, poet, musician, says, I have become my own version of an optimist. If I can't make it through one door, I'll go through another door, or I'll make a door. Something terrific will come no matter how dark the present. And in Sirach 51, verse 18, for I resolved to live according to wisdom, and I was zealous for the good, and I shall never be disappointed. I shall never be disappointed, because now I see. Look for what authentically calls you from the heart, and you will never be disappointed. God bless you all.
Kick the water.